Hello World and FB, YouTube, and also Instagram. Basically, this is my response in regards to the results of the Trayvon Martin case and the verdict that was placed by the jury of that case down there in Sanford, Florida. From my reaction, this is what I feel. I feel it was shocking and appalling that this case really wasn't thoroughly reviewed carefully like it should have. I'm also appalled at the fact that the legal team that was for George Zimmerman, as well as the legal team for this young man, and also the law enforcement team of that town, didn't consider anything as far as the evidence of both this supposed man's bruises, which looked as if he had gone home and had them staged, and at the same time, if in a possibility of him being supposedly overpowered by a 17-year-old boy who had to at least be 3 times his underweight, 3 times under his weight. Because face it, Zimmerman looked like he was at least 200 and some odd pounds, close to 250, maybe 275, and Trayvon had to have been about at least 110 at the max. How could a person at 110 pounds versus a person at over 200 pounds get overpowered so quickly and forcefully beaten on concrete to where he had to cry and scream for his life, without the possibility of at least using his body weight to actually overtake the attack? And in reference to his so-called friend who testified against him, testified against the boy's actions, how come he didn't help him either? Basically, there should have been more questions asked by both the legal team as well as the parents and the court system themselves. And I feel that it basically is a travesty and a shame that our justice system in the supposed United States that we all live in has still had no recollection to think carefully of what was being done or what was being done. This child was initially stalked and, in any case, harassed, as well as this man, instead of using equal force to defend himself, he used deadly force, which was uncommon, and then had the nerve and audacity to call upon using the clause of stand your ground, which basically should mean in terms of defending yourself in the exact equal rights of when you're being attacked, meaning in terms, if you're being attacked or threatened with a gun, yes, you have the option to retaliate with the same weapon. In this case, this boy was barehanded and unarmed, no weapons on him. And this man came at him with a gun at point blank range and fired it. I believe that in reference to him being supposedly attacked or beat up, he was embarrassed and felt the need to shoot this kid, even with the fact that he was supposedly on this ideal sense that he didn't like African American people, which I still think they should have used that within the court case, and it was unfairly dismissed. Overall, I'm saying to all the people out there in Facebook, Instagram, the world what have you, is that yes, justice was not served correctly, and in terms of the president's actions to take this to a federal court, which I understand. Basically, if this goes to a federal court, I believe, and I would strongly suggest that the federal Justice Division goes back and thoroughly examines everything in regards to this case, because all these things, and putting this child in a bad light, saying that he smoked weed, he was suspended, he was expelled from school because he had possession of weed remnants in his bag, and that he was throwing up his middle finger and things of that nature. It's bad that you have to, it's bad especially on our people, that you have to look at the negative first before you can even look at the positive. And in that case, it's not just the media that showed that, it's also within ourselves that need to look back at that and fix that. Because in any case, and I did ask this personally on Facebook, what individual who is an adult now in this day and age hasn't had a rambunctious, rebellious side when they were growing up as teenagers throughout their lifetime, in their childhood, in their life as a whole. If you can sit here and say that yes, you've been a good person all your life, and you haven't had a couple of blemishes of either running with the law, doing something you shouldn't have done, or being at a party, getting drunk, getting high, these things, and actually decide to clean up your act as you got older, and you say you haven't done this, and then if you haven't, I'd say kudos to you. But in the same run, I'd still say I couldn't believe you, because of the fact all of us have actually done some sort of sin, and in some cases have had a chance to repent and redeem ourselves as individuals to become respectable individuals in society. And honestly, to the Martin family, I give my deepest sympathies and deepest condolences for the loss of your son. And I pray that, I know in your time of loss and in your time of bereavement, and even in this time of disarray because of those jurors who should have thought carefully about how this case would have been fixed, my prayers still go all out to you, and I hope that in this time you'll be able to focus on a better future. And also to the people, and also to the many parents out there who have young sons and daughters, take this lesson about these types of actions and educate your children in these regards, so that way we don't have the future of more deaths of African American boys and girls, or any other boy and girl of any race, to come out and come with the same results like this has happened. My name is Curtis Lawson, MBA. This is my video edition of my favorite segment, The World Outside My Window, and I say peace and good night.